Hello and a very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nurul Wahida binti Shariful Azhar, matrix number A177355. My speech topic for today is veganism is not a healthy lifestyle. So I will begin with my speech right now. So most likely you have heard that people are omnivores for as long as you can remember. So as far as we can tell, people have always eaten meat and other animal products. However, in recent years, veganism has received a lot more attention due to claims about the impact it has on environment, immunity, and health. For those of you who don't know, veganism is the practice of avoiding the use of animal products, especially in one's diet. But as normal human being with instincts, everyone enjoys eating foods such as meatballs, steak, fried chicken, and etc. So my question is, why would you choose to eat just vegetables over all that? Although I do love eating vegetables and fruits as part of my daily meals, I still very much prefer to have a healthy and balanced meal as needed by our bodies. So there was a time where I went vegan for a while, and the experience taught me that this diet will not be sustainable and healthy in the long run. So today I will first explain why veganism is not a healthy lifestyle. First, I will illustrate on how being a vegan can have a negative impact on your health. Then, I will provide you with some tips on how to lead a balanced and healthy lifestyle. To start, I will first explain on how veganism can be detrimental to our health. So, firstly, veganism is detrimental to our health because it can cause nutritional deficiencies. It is more difficult to extract nutrients such as iron, calcium, iodine, and vitamin B12 from plant-based diets. The absence of animal and dairy products increases the risk of vitamin B12, also known as cobalamin insufficiency among vegans. So according to data from the EPIC Oxford cohort research in the UK, 50% of vegan individuals were low in vitamin B12. This is especially dangerous because B12 deficiency may be unnoticed for an extended period of time due to the high folate content of a vegan diet. So why it is dangerous? Because folate can disguise the symptoms of B12 deficiency until the emergence of more severe symptoms. So according to Rogerson, long-term cobalamin deficit can result in irreparable neurological problems, and data has suggested that veganism can result in cobalamin deficiency if cobalamin is not replenished. So this shows that vegans need to take additional supplements in their diet to avoid B12 deficiency as they cannot get it enough naturally through their diet. It has also been found that vegans have a higher risk of broken bones due to reduced calcium consumption. So as we know, calcium is prevalent in a variety of foods, including dairy products. So unlike vegetarians who still consume dairy, we know that vegans do not allow dairy at all in their diet. So it is harder for them to obtain calcium. Vegans also eat fewer calcium than omnivores like us and other vegetarians as indicated by data from the EPIC Oxford cohort study. So long-term calcium deficiency can result in dental problems, cataract, brain changes, and osteoporosis which can cause brittle bones. Due to these restrictions on dairy for the vegan, it is highly probable that vegans will eventually develop calcium deficiency as it is highly impossible for vegans to obtain enough calcium in their daily diet without supplement. Vegans also have a greater likelihood to develop eating disorder. So according to some experts, the hypothesis connection between dietary restriction and eating disorder is replicated in veganism. People who do a strict vegan diet are more likely to develop orthorexia, which is an eating disorder characterized by an obsessive concern with healthy eating patterns and over-restriction. So vegan diet can use can be used to legitimate food avoidance and avoidance of specific eating settings to facilitate continuous restrictions and conceal restrictive eating practices used to control weight. So the constant reduction of what is approved foods may lead to a diet consisting of relatively few things considered edible. So as a result, individuals may restrict their diet from omnivore to being vegetarian and eventually to become vegan. So as we know, veganism only allows plant-based foods such as soy product, vegetables and fruits. So these kind of restrictions can be very detrimental to those who are already at risk of developing eating disorder. Now that we are aware of how eating only plant-based diet can cause certain problems to our health, let's look at some ways we can actually help prevent this through balanced and healthy dieting. So a balanced diet is one that includes all of the essential food groups. So the USDA recommends the half of a person's plate should be filled with fruits and vegetables. The remaining portion should consist of grains and proteins. They also suggest pairing each meal with a portion of low-fat dairy or an alternative source of the nutrients contained in dairy. So according to a guideline for Americans, everyone should eat nutrient-dense protein in their regular diet. So proteins are needed for individuals of all ages. Proteins are essential to our diet because they facilitate muscle growth. So meat is an excellent source of protein, vitamins and minerals such as iron, zinc, and B vitamins. It is also an important source of vitamin B12 as we discussed earlier on. So eggs and fish are also excellent source of protein because they contain vitamins and minerals. Also, they also contains omega-3 fatty acids. Evidently, all these protein-rich foods are restricted in vegan diet. Therefore, they lack nutrient as compared to a healthy and balanced diet. Now, you also need to choose whole grain carbs over processed carbohydrates for better quality in your food. So according to a study published in 2016, foods high in glycemic load may worsen symptoms of depression and exhaustion. So foods having a high glycemic index typically contain refined carbohydrates such as sugary drinks, cakes and cookies. So remember to choose better quality carbs such as bread, brown rice, barley or oatmeal. And the USDA also advises 3 cups of dairy per day on average. So that your diet may include milk and goods containing milk nutrients. So try to consume low-fat or non-fat dairy products. Dairy is also something that is lacking in vegan diet. This clearly shows that vegan diet does not take into consideration the USDA's recommendation. And lastly, don't forget to consume fruit and veggies. Fruit and leafy greens are vitamin and mineral rich. So vitamins and minerals increase the body's immunity to disease. As shown in a research published in a 2015 study, it discovered that nutrients and diets that prevent cognitive decline and dementia can be found in vegetable that has high source of vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin E. The fruits and vegetables are the main sources of food in vegan diet, but what is the most important is balance in your meal. So don't forget to eat the other essential food groups as well. So in closing, I would like to leave you with these parting thoughts. Today, I stress the negative impact of veganism to our health. I began by explaining some of the primary ways being on a plant-based diet causes negative effects such as nutrient deficiencies and eating disorder. Then, I suggested some methods of how you can actually have a healthy and balanced diet. It is still not too late for us to begin making better selections for ourselves. Humans were designed to be omnivores for critical factors as demonstrated by repeated scientific studies. So let's ditch the veganism hype and start making better decision for our bodies and health. Thank you for listening.
Alright, can you guys hear me clearly? Yes, alright, sure. Is there any other sound? No. Okay, so I'll start with my speech today. So, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. I read to the audience present today. So today my speech will be entitled Physical Appearance Should Not Be the First Thing to Consider When Choosing a Life Partner. But before that, my name is Nur Amira Batisha binti Muhammad Rafi, standing here. And my matrix number is A174439. So today, I'll be standing here to persuade you guys to agree that physical appearance is not the main element to consider when choosing a life partner. So in today's speech, I will point out three important reasons on why we shouldn't prioritize physical appearance when choosing a life partner and persuade you to agree with me today. So let me start off with this. Whenever a person is passing by in front of you, what is the first thing that you will be looking at that person? And I'm sure today that 90% of us here would look at their physical appearance when choosing a life partner. And this is the case, would look at the first physical appearance when we look at them for the first time. And this is the case when we choose our life partner. So, do you wish to have a life partner one day? I guess you would definitely say yes. And if you do, what are the things that you are looking forward to have in your life partner? Is it the look, or maybe the wealth, or maybe the kindness that you are looking forward to have in your partner one day? So you might have different answers between each one of you, but what I'm going to discover with you today, right now, as we are going to discover what are the best traits that you will definitely have to look in your partner. So, as a person who is very particular in being a relationship and have the knowledge about it from my own personal reading, I feel that I have the obligation to let you know the good input that I've gained from my reading. So, without wasting any time, let us straight away look into the reasons on why we should not prioritize the physical appearance when choosing a life partner. So, firstly, it is not really important to pick a life partner just based on the physical appearance because physical appearance differs. Physical attractiveness differs from one person to another. This is the truth because a person may feel that an individual is attractive enough to them, but at the same time, yeah, at the same time, others might have a different feelings towards that. So that is totally fine because why? As long as you and your partner feels that you are attractive to one another, then it's okay. And in addition, it would be the best actually if you are having the same level of attractiveness as your partner do. Because according to a research done, it is believed that having similar level of physical attractiveness can enhance a long-term relationship success. So trust me that getting attracted to someone just based on their physical appearance usually does not guarantee you a last long relationship. This is because you just simply fall for someone just for the reason of his or her physical trait that will eventually fade off as time goes by. So attraction in some attraction in somebody you know will come naturally as you get to know them better. And sometimes at one point of time, you will realize that physical attractiveness is no longer important because there are other things that you may find out important in someone that you know in the future. So now let us move on to the next reasoning on why we should not prioritize our physical appearance when choosing a life partner. So it is not important to actually look at physical appearance, or I would say prioritizing physical appearance, because attitude is the true beauty in oneself. Many of us nowadays think that attractiveness in our physical appearance can easily get us a life partner. And this is totally a mistake because look is not everything that will lead us to a happy relationship. In fact, perfect on the outside does not mean that someone is perfect in the inside as well, especially in regards to their attitude that can portray the true beauty. So people tend to forget that attitude actually really brings a lot of difference in someone's life, even in relationship. And the way how people act or treat others are the most important thing that people will look at and always remember in the future, and not your flawless complexion. So you should totally observe on how your partner act in a tough situation, like for example when things just don't work out as like how they plan out. And through this way, you can know that how good your partner in dealing or handling this kind of situation, because it is believed that how they act under this kind of situation will reflect on how they will act on you someday in the future. All right. So stay calm and lend me your full focus to the very last reasoning that I will point out to you today in my speech. So finally, it is not important to prioritize physical appearance when it comes to choosing a life partner, because there are other important traits that are more vital for you to consider in this situation. So most of us, like I've mentioned earlier, are too anxious on finding a good, on finding or prioritizing physical appearance when it comes to choosing a life partner. But what they don't realize is that there are actually other traits that are more vital to consider in this situation. And for example, in this situation can happen when a person miss out to observe how well actually their partner can accept them. This is an important trait to consider, because to it really helps you to become who you really are at all times, without need to be fake, or without you need to be fake just to fit the traits that your partner desired for. And for me, it is really crucial for your partner to accept new facts about you, because especially when it differs from their initial perception. And the problem arises normally because the earlier perception does not fit what you are currently portraying to him or her. So having a love partner where you can be the 100% version of you is the best, as you do not have to pretend to be somebody else, and your partner is willing to accept who you really are. So besides that, finding a person who can always be there for you at all times and when you need them is more important for you to consider as compared to physical appearance when choosing a life partner. Being present for each other at the moment where your partner really needs you will enhance a better relationship, because why? You get to know each other better, and at that situation, it will help you, it will show your concern, that you concern about them better. For example, based on my personal experience, it is a usual stereotype that we have in our society today, where women, the one who is responsible for house chores. But what if you are a career woman? You have to ask your partner whether they are willing to help you with the house chores. This can actually become a very good test for you and your partner, as you can actually determine how responsible are they to become and be there for you, and how they are ready to be there for you whenever you really need them. However, let's say if things just do not go as what you have planned, or go the other way around, never be afraid to get out of an unhappy relationship before it is too late, because it is better to be alone, but and wait for the right one to come, rather than drowning yourself in a problematic relationship. So that wraps up my point for today. So after all the things that I've talked to you today, I really hope that all of you will take these things seriously and give a second thought about what I have told you all earlier. So before we go to an end, let me just recap to you what that I have told you today. So in order to persuade you to agree with me that physical appearance is not the main element to consider when choosing a life partner, firstly, I have highlighted to you that it is not important to pick a life partner just based on physical appearance, because physical attractiveness differs from one individual to another. Next, I have told to you in my second point that physical appearance is not important when it comes to choosing a life partner because attitude is a true beauty in oneself. And finally, I did point out to you that it is not important to prioritize physical appearance in choosing a life partner because there are other traits that are more vital for you to consider. So, based on all the things that I've informed you earlier, it is true that physical appearance is important, but I believe that it is not the first thing that you should look and consider when choosing life partner. In conclusion, do not let look and appearance overpower you when you are trying to choose your life partner because you have to realize that at the end of the day, you will realize that beauty of the face will fade as time goes by, but the beauty of the heart will grow as you mature. So I urge all of you to open your eyes wider and look from a different perspective and not only looking at from the physical appearance when choosing a life partner. Think about it again, and it is not before it's too late to change. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Amira. I will now share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes, all right. Okay, so I will start. I'm the third presenter. What are your predominant beliefs about living a good life? There is no right or wrong answer, but it is important to know what you are believing about life will determine your reality. Are having a good career, well-paid job, good environment, and better education define a good life? I ask this question because our beliefs are the canvas which we paint the masterpiece of our life. Our beliefs are the foundation which we build our life. Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I bid to Madam Azwan and all my respected audiences. My name is Sharifah Rehana binti Said Abdul Munim. My metric number is A173751. I'm from Set 4 and I'm going to tell you that living in a city leads you to a good life. Now, I will need you to spare the question I asked earlier in your mind, and I will lead you to understand why living in the city is a first step to have a good life. Little do you know that the world gives us plenty of opportunities. It is upon us to either take it or leave it. I would like to quote a sentence said by a successful woman known as Lauren Bush, who said, taking chances on opportunities, even if they are not right for you, give you a clearer picture of where you want to go with your life and your career. Now, have you decided on where you would choose to live? Is it somewhere in the urban area or somewhere in the rural area? Have you thought about your decision on your place to live will affect your day-to-day life? I'm going to tell you a simple story of mine about making a choice. Living in the urban area brings about countless benefits in my life. Well, Warren Buffett once said, someone sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. If it's not for my family's decision to reside in the city area in Kuala Lumpur, I wouldn't have had all the opportunities that a city life could offer. A long time ago, my family almost decided to buy a house near in Kelantan so they could take care of my grandmother. Instead, they chose to migrate to Kuala Lumpur and started a new life there. So I grew up in Kuala Lumpur receiving education as early as 3 years old in a childcare somewhere near my house. My mother is a teacher and grateful to be surrounded by many positive people. They would always remind me of they have always reminded me of how grateful I am to be receiving a lot of opportunities in my life. So when I went back to my hometown, we will always bring books to my cousin to help them with their education. From that, I could compare how lucky I am to be living in the city instead of rural areas. Ultimately, making the most of opportunities to create a life we crave will put us a step ahead from where we belong. Similarly, choosing urban living rather than a rural living would really determine a life you and your generation would have. It is no doubt that both urban and rural area respective advantages and disadvantages. But what makes urban living better? Throughout this speech, I will assure you that you will realize people who live in the urban area enjoy exclusive benefits in terms of education, career, amenities, rather than those who resided in rural area. First and foremost, urban living is better than rural living because urban living offers greater job opportunities rather than rural living. City area offers countless types of job one could ever ask. We just name one, from part-time to full-time position in offices, retail, and service industries. Urban area have long been regarded as diverse job hubs, with trend showing people leaving rural areas for urban ones. Thousands of people are looking for work in the cities. You might think that I made up the point, but trust me, this is shown in the 2022 report of Department of Statistics Malaysia, which said in Terengganu, the highest percentage of migration interstate was migration from urban to urban at 40%, whilst the second highest was migration from rural to urban at 25%. I'm sure you are wondering why would they leave their hometown, right? Alright, so let me explain. For rural area, fewer job opportunity offered due to their small size and low cost living. Even if there are jobs available in the rural area, they might not be satisfied because they will likely to pay less than those in bigger cities. And if you are thinking that agriculture industry would offer many job opportunity to the citizens, you are wrong. Of course, agriculture is the primary industry in most rural areas. However, due to agricultural technology, the needs for agricultural workers have declined. Hence, more people migrate to urban areas to get better job opportunities in different areas, such as industrial technology. Thus, you can say that urban living offers greater job opportunities and pay high wages. However, better job opportunity is not the only reason a city could offer. Since a city is big on urban living, you could find as many as facilities as possible. That will explain about the second point, which is urban amenities, facilities, and transportation promote community well-being. Generally, amenity means access to shop and other services required for daily living. This includes access to employment, healthcare, educational services, transportation, and green spaces. You know, those things that you could easily find in a city. Well, those things are actually regarded as essential in household in all communities. It means that it is important and not just a complementary to life. This is because those infrastructure, amenities, and facilities are important in providing easy access to most employees in terms of transportation, promoting good health, and sustaining one's living condition. However, in rural area, those things are hardly provided. It is because rural area often struggles in the development in terms of providing adequate amenities and facilities to the community. Those problems actually impose detrimental effects upon the living condition of rural citizens. Indirectly, these things contribute to the high disparities between urban and rural areas. Thus, with the shortcoming of amenities and facilities, it is easily said that rural living hardly provide good environment and good life rather than urban living. From the explanation given earlier, let's think about how those things would greatly impact on one's education. It could be your education as university students, right? Or your younger siblings or your future generation. The induction that I want to say is easy access to facilities such as libraries, museums, public transportation, and high-speed internet have great impact on one's education. Thus, it is fair to say that urban living offers better education than rural living. So, this is the last point for today, which is urban students gain greater overall access to education and receive a higher quality education than rural students. In a study conducted by the University of Texas reveals the high level of disparity between rural and urban education in terms of achievement is caused by limited facilities and resources allocation. Further, rural education is affected by lack of sufficient resources and facilities compared to those in urban areas. For instance, they are lacking in basic facilities like lab equipment, which making it hard for them to learn science subjects. Thus, it is important to choose which area to live because it can affect the access to education and the quality received as a whole. For the above mentioned reasons, it is hard to deny that urban living offers greater advantages and benefits in terms of job opportunities, amenities, and facilities, and also education to the urban community. Hence, the decision lies upon us to choose what are better for our life. All in all, urban living offers greater advantages than rural living for three main reasons. Firstly, because urban living offers greater job opportunities. Secondly, because urban living provides essential amenities, facilities, and transportation. And lastly, urban living provides better education to the students. Remember, opportunities are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. Thus, it is never too late to start planning on the life you would choose to live. The greater the risk, the better the result. Hence, if you desire a healthy and a good lifestyle for you or for your future family to live somewhere in an urban area, it is never too late to strive for it. Good luck.
Thank you, Shaf. Greetings, everyone. I am Kirtana Palisamy, and my metric number is A174633. Today, I will be delivering speech on female genital mutilation (FGM), and the specific title of my speech is "Female Genital Mutilation is an Injustice Against Female Gender. Oppose it." So now I will begin with my speech. Every day, millions of girls and women around the world still find their voices silenced, their lives put at risk, and their freedom and rights denied simply because of their gender. Female genital mutilation, FGM. Just hearing those three words can cause someone to squeal and feel goosebumps on their arms. However, I am confident that there are still many people who are unaware of this issue. To avoid leaving you in the dark, I would like to begin with a brief definition and some key information about this issue. FGM refers to all procedures involving partial or total removal of the female external genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. The procedure is performed using a blade or shard of glass by a religious leader, town elder, or a medical professional with limited training. FGM is utilized as an initiation rite of passage to womanhood and aims to ensure premarital virginity and marital fidelity by reducing her desire for extramarital sexual acts. According to United Nations, FGM has affected 200 million women and girls worldwide, with 80% of incidents occurring in Africa. I was cut deeper and deeper, and I could not stop bleeding. These are the words of Sadia, a survivor of FGM, who recalls the torture she underwent. Can you feel the pain she gets? Can you? Isn't it ridiculous and inhuman? This horror is typically inflicted on a girl when she was too little to understand things happening around her. Oh, being a virgin is more essential than everything else, even though they are bleeding to death. Imagine the pain of a little girl being pulled, cut, and stitched because society will not accept her if she is not a virgin. Yes, I am here today to speak out against FGM, which causes girls and women to suffer. Being a law student who wants to stand up for the welfare of girls and women proves that I am credible enough to speak about this issue, as it is considered to be a serious global issue. The following are the reasons that forced me to speak out against FGM. Firstly, it is internationally recognized as a serious human rights violation. It often leads to immediate and long-term health complications, and it can cause physical and psychological problems. I will proceed by explaining to you the first reason. As I mentioned before, FGM is internationally recognized as a serious violation of the fundamental human rights of girls and women. Why is it so? Female genital mutilation has been recognized as discrimination based on sex because it is rooted in gender inequalities and power. Actually, The practice of FGM fits within the definition of discrimination against women as set forth in Article 1 of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW 1979. FGM is classified as a practice exclusively directed towards women and girls with the effect of interfering with their enjoyment of their fundamental rights. This is mainly because FGM denies the rights of girls and women to make an informed choice about a procedure that alters their bodies permanently and violates their autonomy and control over their lives. Therefore, the right of a woman to physical integrity, privacy, and freedom from violence is thereby violated. It is a well-known fact that international law protects the right to participate in cultural life as well as the freedom of religion. International law, on the other hand, stipulates that the freedom to manifest one's religion or beliefs may be subject to limitations necessary to protect the fundamental rights and freedoms of others. As a result, FGM cannot be justified by invoking societal or cultural justifications. If the first reason is not solid enough to convince you to oppose FGM, let me tell you the second reason. Female genital mutilation often leads to immediate and long-term physical health complications. Yes, FGM provides no health benefits and harms girls and women in a variety of ways. This is because it entails the removal and destruction of healthy and normal female genital tissue as well as interfering with the natural function of girls and women's body. Although all forms of FGM increase the risk of physical health complications, the risk is greater with more severe forms of FGM. The immediate complications of FGM can include severe pain, excessive bleeding, genital tissue swelling, fever, urinary problems, wound healing problems, injury to surrounding genital tissue, and death. Meanwhile, long-term complications can include urinary problems, vaginal problems, menstrual problems, difficulty in passing menstrual blood, scar tissue, sexual problems, and increased risk of childbirth complications. Sometimes genital tissue is stitched again several times, including after childbirth. Hence, the woman goes through repeated opening and closing procedures, further increases both immediate and long-term risk. Very recent estimates by WHO, UNICEF, UNFPA, the World Bank, and the United Nations Population Division reveal that most of the high FGM prevalence countries also have high maternal mortality ratios and high numbers of maternal deaths. Two of the four nations with the highest rates of maternal deaths worldwide are those with a high prevalence of FGM. FGM is therefore evidently nothing more than a nightmare for girls and women. Now, I will tell you the last reason and make you realize that speaking out against FGM is a must to end the sufferings of the girls and women caused by the abnormal cutting. Moving on to the third reason, female genital mutilation leads to psychological problems. It is undeniably true that the life of a FGM survivor will never be the same as before. The primary cause of this is that the victim's lifelong trauma will never go away. Moving forward, the psychological consequences of FGM include post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, anxiety disorder, panic disorders, depression, and suppressed feelings and thoughts, and sometimes even attempted suicide. It is supported by an Egyptian study conducted in Benha University Hospital on assessing the impact of FGM on the health of newly married women. It is demonstrated that FGM women had significant mental problems regarding somatization anxiety and phobic anxiety. These effects are caused by psychological trauma from the painful procedure, feelings of humiliation and betrayal by parents, the use of physical force by those performing the procedure, a negative genital image, a lack of sense of ownership over their bodies, destructive sexual lives, and infertility. As I mentioned earlier, it has also been found that the psychological trauma that women experience to FGM often stays with them for the rest of their lives. As an example, Dr. Brenda Kelly, consultant obstetrician at Oxford Rose Clinic, shared the story of one of her patients who had FGM about 30 years prior, but still recalls the trauma of the procedure. The situation worsens when FGM survivors realize that their vagina looks different than anyone else due to the abnormal cutting, and that FGM is not a common practice in many parts of the world. This will be a turning point in survivor's life because the moment of self-discovery can evoke emotional distress and stigma. I have given three solid reasons to oppose FGM. Let me recall them back. FGM is internationally recognized as a serious violation of the fundamental human rights of girls and women. Second, it often leads to immediate and long-term physical health complications. And lastly, it can cause psychological problems. Ladies and gentlemen, it is undeniable that FGM ruins the childhoods of girls and women based on all three reasons to oppose it. We need to end FGM so girls and women can live in dignity, free from violence, and realize their full potential. Even if you are not from FGM practicing community, try to spread awareness by educating the society about the impacts of FGM. Don't be afraid to speak about it. FGM is a topic that people should not longer be ignorant about. Everyone should ensure that they are educated on the dangers of FGM in order to sensitize all people in all societies. Ignorance on this issue have wider implications than generally thought. Last but not least, speak up. Even if you are not directly affected, it is important we create a world where everyone has zero tolerance for FGM. This marks end of my speech. Thank you for listening. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible and do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Robiatul Adawiyah. My metric number is A174079. So today I would like to talk about intermittent fasting, or known as IF, should be a lifestyle, not a diet. Now I will start my speech. Have you ever experienced body shaming? Have you ever thought that your body become your insecurities? As for me, I had experienced those of this feeling. Back in 2017, as you can see in the slide, I actually overweight. During this time, I hate myself. I keep comparing myself to others, which is not good for my mental health. So from this time, I start to try various type of diet. You just can name it, either Atkins, keto, or even crash diet. But at the end, I give up because this type of diet is unsustainable for a long time. So in 2019, I stumbled upon a Facebook post created by my mutual friend where she shared about her successful journey of losing weight by implementing intermittent fasting in her lifestyle. So people say scarcity kills the cat. I keep digging information about it and started to implement it in my lifestyle since June 2019. So now, after implementing it for a few years, I can see the difference in my body. As you can see in this picture, this is my latest picture, where now I feel more confident with myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is intermittent fasting? So according to a research made by Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, if can be understood as a diet regime that alternates between time of eating and fasting with a regular schedule. There are various set of if. For example, you need to fast for 16 hours and eat for 8 hours, or you also can fasting for 12 hours and eat for 12 hours. But please bear in mind, if you want to see the benefit of it, you are required to fasting at least minimum for 12 hours. Personally, when I started my intermittent fasting journey, I chose 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating window. I am comfortable with this fasting plan because I rarely eat breakfast. So it's easier for me to maintain and enjoy this type of fasting because I only eat 2 meals, which is during lunch and also dinner. But in between of those time, I snacking with fruits. During fasting, you can drink plain water, coffee, or tea. However, please bear in mind that you cannot add any sugar during your fasting time. However, when you entering your eating window, you can eat everything, but please keep it moderate because moderate is the key to have a better lifestyle. Now, you must be curious how intermittent fasting can help bring benefit to your lifestyles, right? So first and foremost, it helps the body to burn fat. According to a research made by Mark, a neuroscientist that has studied if for 25 years, state that our bodies have evolved to be able to go without food for many hours or even several days. Our body is an intelligent creation where after 12 hours at least, if the body does not receive any food, the body exhausts its sugar store and start burning fat. So this process known as metabolic switching. Metabolic switching occurs when your body switch its energy sources from glucose to fat. So intermittent fasting works by prolonging the period of fasting because when your body has burned fat through the calories that you consume during your last meal, it will begin to burn fat. So when the body burn fat, it will help to lose weight. In addition to optimize in addition to optimize weight loss while adopting it, you also can include physical activities that you love. So as you know, in order to stay healthy, we are required to at least exercise 3 times per week. So as personally for me, I usually do Zumba because it's easy, and believe me, you will actually sweat a lot during Zumba. So if your goal is to lose weight by doing intermittent fasting, you need to do it approximately around 3 weeks to 24 weeks in order for you to see the result. So according to an article written by Ani, titled Intermittent Fasting, No Other Better Than Calorie Restriction for Weight Loss, prove that intermittent fasting helps a person to lose weight because it restricts the number of calories per day that people take in. So it is because if has a period where a person should not consume any food, so during this time, it gives the body time to to switch the uh, energy sources from glucose to fat, so you can burn fat. So during eating window, please bear in mind that you should not eat too little. It is because, as mentioned in National Library of Medicine, United States website, a 1,200 calories diet is an inappropriate amount of calories taken by an adult, whether you are woman or man. It is because when a person takes too low calories per day, it will result to negative side effects like dizziness, extreme hunger, and micronutrient deficiencies. Although the goal is to burn fat, please ensure that you eat enough nutrient during eating window. Thus, this situation shows that if a person to do not have excessive body fat that can lead to being overweight, and also at the same time, you also can lose weight. Losing weight is everyone's dreams, but keeping the body healthy is a must. Worry not, if can help you prevent health disease like diabetes. It helps to reduce insulin resistance and lower the blood sugar level. As a result, it will protect a person against type 2 diabetes. Based on National Health and Mobility Survey 2019, the number of Malaysians who suffer from diabetes is around 3.9 million. This prevalent rate has risen from 13.4% to 18.3% in 2019. This is equivalent to 1 in 5 adults in our country actually suffer diabetes. Due to this situation, Malaysia is known as the sweetest nation in Asia. But I believe that we still can be sweetest even we cannot get diabetes. So please try to implement it in your lifestyle because it can reduce insulin and also lower your blood sugar level. So practicing if as part of your lifestyle can protect a person from diabetes. This statement have been proven by referring to an article written by Adrian titled Intermittent Fasting versus Daily Calorie Restriction for two types of diabetes shows that implementing fasting in your diet will help to reduce blood sugar by 3 to 6% over 8 to 12 weeks in people with pre-diabetes. Besides, fasting also helps to reduce insulin by 20% to 30% in the body. So as a generation that enjoy bubble tea, coffee most of the time, I believe that intermittent fasting lifestyle will help them to control their food intake and calories per day when they have a specific eating pattern because they know when to eat and when to stop. Moving on to the following benefit of if, which is if it's good for your brain health. Fasting positively affect our brain include decreased depressive symptoms, better memory, and higher neuron creation. So in 2019, a study titled Intermittent Fasting Increased Adult Hippocampal Neurogenesis revealed that prolonged fasting stimulate the growth of new brain cells, which can improve some aspect of your memory. So according to study published in Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging, participant mood improved and their stress level decreased after 3 months of implementing if in their daily lifestyle. So if was linked to considerable increase the mental well-being of a person who incorporate if in their diet. Besides, I had previously mentioned about how metabolic switching could help the body to burn fat. So in addition, metabolic switching also plays a vital role in increasing neuroplasticity in the brain. So what is neuroplasticity? So neuroplasticity is the capacity of the brain to modify and adapt in response to experience. So when the neuroplasticity is increased, it will help to optimize the brain function. So does it prove that intermittent fasting is good not only for your physical body, but also can improve your brain health? So at this moment in time, we are aware that if brings a lot of advantages, especially towards health. If is easy to incorporate into our daily diet, and can sustain for a long period because it does not restrict you from enjoying any food, but control when you should eat. I have highlighted that it can help you to lose weight because during your fasting time, metabolic switching will occur, so your body will burn fat. Aside from it, if also can become a resistant to a chronic disease like diabetes, and the best part is if also can improve your brain health. Ladies, you must bear in mind that intermittent fasting is not a crash diet where you are required to eat at very low calories and the effect only lasts for a short term. In the end, you only have one body, one heart, and one brain. The best thing you can do is to keep living a healthier lifestyle, and the answer to it is intermittent fasting because it gives you the freedom to stop stressing about food and bring benefit to your health. So let's incorporate intermittent fasting in your lifestyle. So what are you waiting for? Let's do intermittent fasting together. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. Just to confirm, am I audible? Okay. Good evening to all. My name is Nur Alia Natasha binti Muhammad Nasir and my matrix number is A173961. For the purpose of this persuasive speech task today, my topic is this is why you should go cashless in 2022. I will now proceed with my speech. In this rapidly changing world, almost everything is made easy. I've been going about my day without cash money for months now, and it's no hassle at all. Can you believe it? Long story short, I accidentally left my bank card 500 kilometers away at home months ago. Therefore, I am surviving today without any way to withdraw cash from the ATM. But guess what? Being cashless and even cardless, I am surviving just fine. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to all. Today, I, Nur Alia Natasha, am going to convince you that you should stop carrying a lot of cash and use cashless payment method instead. And it is because of three main reasons. First, it is convenient. Second, it saves time. And third, it is safe. What is cashless payment? Cashless payment is basically a way that you can make payment but in the absence of any cash or any money at all. Kind of magic if I say so myself, but it eases us. So it is a good type of magic. Okay, now first let me tell you why the usage of cashless payment method is convenient. The main reason is because you are no longer required to carry along wets of cash and coins, which is heavy and takes up space in your purse. All you have to bring is just a piece of card or even just your smartphone and you're good to go. That being the case, you will surely avoid unnecessary physical contact as you'll be making payments without any exchange of cash notes. Living with COVID nowadays, no contact is the better option due to obvious reasons. Physical contact increases chances for germs and viruses to spread because we don't know where all the banknotes have been before they end up in our purse. To back up this point, Dr. Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, the chief economist of Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, actually said this in an interview that Malaysian society nowadays prefers to go cashless in their day-to-day financial transactions due to the convenience that it offers. Thus, cashless payment methods are convenient to be used. Not only does it provide ease for the users from the burden of carrying a bag full of cash and coins, but it also saves us the time of queuing up for cash withdrawals. Now, moving on to the second reason of why you should go cashless is because it is the faster way to make payment. Evidently, it is faster and more efficient as it does not involve the counting of cash and the making of change. I'm sure you are aware of the existence of the paywave function, and it is very beneficial to maximize the utilization of contactless payment. This is witnessed by the Bank Negara Malaysia's numbers that cashless payment methods has seen gradual increase. As proof, Tender Green um, and a Los Angeles-based company also admitted in an article that implementing mandatory cashless payment method speeds up payment process and that cash transactions are actually five times slower than cashless payment method. As for myself, since I do not have my card at hand and consequently I have no cash money in my purse, how did I pay for my food then? I use my smartphone. I'm sure you know of this function called QR Pay. You basically just scan and then pay straight from your bank account. Super easy and convenient. A lot of sellers today, even small sellers, do provide QR code as one of the ways to make payment. They prefer cashless actually. It is 2022 after all. Therefore, with just a click or a swipe, payments has been made. Seamless, cashless, and immediate. No waiting time, no hassle. Convenience at its best. Finally, let me tell you why going cashless is safe. By going cashless, you will not be a victim of potential human error because cashless payment methods are controlled by a system to ensure its accuracy. In addition to that, you are needless to say subsequently less of a target for theft activities and other cash-related crimes. By definition, thieves target property and cash. So let's say if you just bring your smartphone and your card and someone stole those items, you can easily go to the bank to lodge a report and terminate access to your account. But if you lose a large amount of money, most likely you will never get them back. Do not worry, do not fret, because the security measures as a form of protection against theft and fraud are implemented by all card issuers, and your information are protected by the perceived technology security system from any unauthorized access. Only you have access to your money. Clearly, the security and safety of cashless payment methods are not to be worried about anymore as it is controlled and governed. And these things are publicly known at this point of time. It is 2022 and everything has evolved. The world is not the same traditional world as it was 5-10 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, going cashless gives a lot of benefit to us, the society, in this modern era. To reiterate, I have given you 3 solid reasons as to why we should stop carrying cash and use cashless payment method instead. Firstly, for its convenience, you do not need to worry to carry around a lot of cash in your bag. And secondly, to save time, with just a click or a swipe, there you have it, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And lastly, for the security and safety it provides, as only you have access to your money. As I've told you in the very beginning, I've been going about my day without cash money for months now, and it's no hassle at all. Can you believe it now? And for that very reasons, it is 2022, and this is why we should all go cashless. Thank you.